Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Episode 218 is brought to you by Jeslyn, Kakulu, and Benedict, some of our esteemed Patreon patrons. This episode is also possible thanks to our producers, For the Whim, Tiger Yuri, Tab, and Mikey Toe. This week, Nina, Sergio, and I will be going over a survey made by our community member Ganucci on the popularity of New Horizons music. So to begin, hello Sergio, how are you doing?
Hi Chewy, I'm doing pretty good. That sounds like music to my ears. Animal Crossing music of all. So yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. And then, hi Nina, how are you?
I'm doing good. It snowed today in Atlanta, which was fun to watch. It didn't stick, because it's Atlanta. But it was fun to watch it falling while I took down my tree.
That's pretty exciting. How often does it snow there?
Like maybe once a year, sometimes 0 times, sometimes twice. But usually if it does stick, it doesn't stick around too long.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how that is. It doesn't snow at all, basically, where I am, so I feel like it's a magical thing when it does. It's pretty nice. Sergio, how do you feel about snow?
I miss it so much. It used to snow in Mexico, not that often where I live, but here in California, no, nothing. I mean, you can go to the mountains and see it, but I rarely do. And it's been so long. I miss it for sure.
Yeah. See, that's where I got to grow up. Those mountains that you're talking about, the
nice.
ones that had snow. So it was nice. I missed that too. Well, let's kick it off with some icebreakers. Nina, what was the first cartoon you ever saw?
The first cartoon I ever saw.
Yeah. Or at least like the first one that like stuck in your memory.
Right.
I remember being completely obsessed with Land Before Time when I was little.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Even though it's like the saddest movie in the world. I wanted to be Sarah so bad that my mom had to take me out of my brother's basketball game once because I was headbutting strangers like a triceratops. So yeah, I had this little dinosaur called Squeak who looked like Ducky. So I was a big fan.
Cute.
Yeah.
I loved Land Before Time growing up. So good. And the weirdest thing about that is like there's so many of them, and all of them after the first one are like musicals.
Well, no, I've only seen the first one.
Oh my goodness. You have to watch like at least a couple others.
But is it like
be
Cinderella too? Are they terrible?
Yeah. But it's like you gotta at least experience it once.
That's true.
I don't know. I have such a good memory of the first one. I don't think I want to tarnish it.
I mean, the first one is definitely great. Fun fact, where I went to college, the person who wrote that first movie, Land Before Time, was a professor there. I never got to meet them though, and never like took a class with them at all, but it was cool just knowing that little fact.
Man, and Diana Ross sings the song at the end. I cannot listen to that song as an adult without crying. Like this movie, I need to stop thinking about it now.
I love it. Well, you're up. You can ask your question.
Okay. Sergio, if you had to restart your life at some point and go through everything all over again exactly the same way, what age would you want to start over at?
Oh, that's interesting.
And you can't, it's got to be like, I guess, more than 5 years. You can't pick like yesterday.
Right.
Do you like have? I guess I have a follow-up question for this. Do you have like a recollection that you've like lived all of this before?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
I'm gonna go with 17.
Oh.
See, I feel like that that gives me a year before I'm out of high school and I need to like really act on my choices at that point. So like that gives me enough time to maybe rethink them or go through with them again. But I feel like a year is a good buffer time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a good one.
Yeah. 17.
Not bad. That's honestly later than I would have picked, I
Yeah,
think.
me too. I'd want to be like
Yeah.
a snarky elementary schooler, with an adult
Kind of
brain.
same. Yeah. All right, Sergio, you're up.
All right, Chewy. If you had to have a tail, what kind of animal tail would you want?
Okay, so this is a great question because we just went to the zoo and we saw all sorts of animals and things, and the spider monkeys, just watching them, so their tails, like, they do some work with those things, and it's so like graceful and smooth the way they swing around and everything. So definitely spider monkey tail. I was impressed. Jackie and I were both impressed. We were like, that's a good tail. We would totally be happy with that kind.
Oh my gosh. And it'd have to be like your size. Like the ratio would have to be the same too. It'd be huge.
Yeah. But I think like it'd just be so nifty. How many times do you wish you had that like third arm that could help you like open the door or carry something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like why did we evolve away from those? Like it would have been pretty nice to keep a working tail arm.
Well, I'm not sure apes have tails, do they?
I guess not.
Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, still, like, let's choose. Sergio, how about for your answer of every question, we just start at the beginning of the universe and maybe things will change so that we have tails.
Yes. Agreed.
That age.
Deal.
Negative 3 trillion or however old we are. All right. Let's get into the show. We are going to discuss the New Horizons soundtrack, specifically the hourly music. And as I mentioned in the intro, one of our community members, Ganucci, also just a member of the Animal Crossing community all over the place. Specifically, Ganucci posted a really cool poll over on the Beltree forums, and it was for a bunch of people to rate the Animal Crossing New Horizons hourly songs. And I think about 90 responses got through as of May 5th, 2021. So this is like last updated last year, right?
Right.
A little bit of a small pool, but I thought it was pretty interesting what was like found through it, which was basically, here are all the popular songs, or at least the songs that people really like, and then the songs that aren't so great or so. So the ranking system was like, 1 through 10, 1 being absolutely terrible, awful, and 10, like, you're throwing money at Animal Crossing and saying, give me more, give me more, give me all the songs, right? So that was the basic rating system. We'll go through all of these, kind of talk about our thoughts on where these songs are and how we feel about them, and if they're like, if they're in the right spot, or if they maybe need a be bumped down, bumped up. We'll go through that. So, as of right now, I guess, which one of you put this really nifty chart in? Was it you, Sergio?
No, it was me.
Yeah.
Nina, you did it. Okay, awesome. Take us through the chart. What were your findings here?
Well, I was just really interested that out of this chart 1 through 10, there are 0 ranked perfect. So the ranking goes 10 to 1, perfect, almost perfect, great, good, a little above average, average, a little below average, bad, awful, and unlistenable. And there are 0 in perfection, which again I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Almost perfect has 2 hours, two songs in it. Great has 5. Good has 11. So everybody thinks it's, pretty all right.
Yeah.
A little above average has 5. Average has 1. Average is the lowest ranking because the rest of them, a little below average, bad, awful, and unlistenable, all have 0 songs also. So I thought that this was kind of an interesting little, data collection. Because I feel like in general, Animal Crossing fans are nice people, and that maybe this is too high ranked for almost everything, even though there's zero that are perfection.
And I think like the thing that goes into it too is like it's really just like an average of people's thoughts with each song too. Like some people may have ranked one like really highly, and then a bunch of other people were like pretty low. So it like, average sounds like where I would have thought more would fall but I guess generally people think it was good.
Yeah.
So either we are really nice, or the soundtrack really isn't too bad for New Horizons.
That could be it too.
Yeah. But I guess we'll decide. We'll talk about some of these songs specifically and see how we all feel about them. So, like you said, nothing in the perfection range, which would have been a 9.5 to 10, which is very, very high of a score. That would be a lot of people voting this song 9s and 10s across the board, right? And so we'll jump down to the next one. Almost perfect. So the average score here was 8.01 to 9.5 like before. And the two songs that are in here are 5 a.m. and 2 a.m. And my main comment about both of these songs is I have never heard them in game because I am not awake at those times. Playing. So my only experience of these is really like removed from the game. You know what I mean? So I guess you both have some comments on it. Let's start with 5 a.m., which is the highest rated one at an 8.96. Very, very popular one here. And Sergio, I think you had some comments for this one.
I did, and I wonder if the people that ranked it so high, it's because of the same reason. But this is very, very nostalgic song for me because, that's the start of a new day in New Horizons. Now it's 5 a.m. So maybe a lot of people like me, they definitely started playing the game at 5 a.m. right at that point, just to start a new day fresh and get a lot of things done, early in the morning. It's a little slow, but like I said, I think most of it is the nostalgia speaking, at least definitely in my case. And starting a new day and listening to that song and just having so many things to do right at that time, it's amazing. It's pretty high on my personal list, number 6, I believe. Yes. So definitely. But again, a lot of it is nostalgia because I played so many days right at 5 a.m. and I would always listen to that song. So it's very nostalgic for me.
Awesome. And just for context for everybody, I will be sticking all of these tracks in the episode so you all can hear which song it is and know which one we're talking about as well. So 5 a.m., you should have heard it just before this, so we'll continue that. 5 a.m. The fun thing about this one is that like the days used to restart at 6, right?
Yes.
In Animal Crossing, and now this is like the restarter song. So it's like it feels like it's the one that really kicks off the hourly soundtrack, and that to me feels like they worked really hard to get that one right for the game, and I guess it shows. Like so many people really like this song and how it just sounds and feels like a good start to their experience with New Horizons.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's a quick listen to 2 a.m. And Nina, I think you had some comments regarding 2 a.m., right?
Yeah, I did. And this was my favorite song when we ranked them a couple of episodes ago, or we had maybe a question from a listener about what our favorite hourly tune was. I can't remember exactly why we were talking about them, but 2 a.m. was it for me. It is chill. It is nice and slow. There's like a lot of kind of tie-ins to like older themes, especially Wild World, which I love. And I really like these songs, especially same with 5 a.m. I like 5 a.m. too. I like these songs that don't overpower the game, that kind of let you listen to the bugs that are nearby or the waterfalls or whatever, and take kind of a back seat, which is, I think 2 a.m. does it beautifully. So that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's a really good, I guess, a thought that goes into some of the music, like the songs that are really just intended to enhance the soundscape and still let you hear the things going on around, your little footsteps crunching on the floor, and the bugs making their little sounds. Yeah. I get that. I get the appeal with that. And you're totally spot on. Like, when I heard this one, I was like, these are Wild World vibes. It's amazing.
Well, and that's my first game I played. So it's that one, again, like Sergio was saying, it's so nostalgic for me.
Yeah, and that soundtrack is just, it's solid.
Yeah.
It's so, so good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are the two songs in the almost perfect section. Leave us comments too about how you feel about these songs as you're listening, and if you feel like you would have ranked these higher or lower for sure. Let's move on to the great category. We have quite a few songs to talk about here. Here is a listen at 6 p.m., which got a score of 7.84.
This one's another one of my favorites. I love 6 p.m. because it's another one that's super calm, and it's such a break from 5 p.m., which we'll talk about later. It's just so much chiller, and it's got like a cool accordion playing in it, which again is like my Wild World favorite. I love when the songs have real instruments in it. So this one's so nice, and it's leading you into the evening. It's a good introduction song. I love it.
Yeah, that was honestly the only note I wrote down for this one, just all caps accordion. I think, I forget what game I was playing. It might have been Garden Story. It might have been something else, but I just remember hearing like an accordion pop in. I think it was actually Ooblets. I think Ooblets had a little track that had some accordion pop in, and I was just like, this is Animal Crossing. I need my accordion in Animal Crossing music. It's delightful.
I love it. The one time I visited Paris, there was an accordion on a street corner, and I was like, oh, it's so good.
Yes.
I just want it to follow me around.
Yes, just be the soundtrack to our lives.
Yeah.
It's so good. All right, here's a quick listen at 12 p.m., which got a score of 7.52. And Sergio, I believe you had some things to say about 12 p.m., right?
Yes, it's one of my favorites. It's number 2 on my personal rankings. And again, I feel like this happens too often for me. Like, if it's very nostalgic, it's gonna be way up there. And this one is. It's also very bouncy, very energetic,
Yeah.
but not overly so. But the reason it's nostalgic, and I think it's fairly high up on the overall list, is because this song came up in a lot of trailers and a lot of the Animal Crossing directs or presentations that we got before we got the game. So I feel like it's very memorable to players, and definitely to me. I remember it from the trailers and from the game as well.
Yeah, that one is like, it's just so nice and simple, I'd say. Because I've learned a couple of, it's like a couple chords that the guitar is playing in a really
right.
nice little strum pattern, just like kind of poppy and exciting, but also like still really in a mellow atmosphere,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yes.
So yeah, this one, it just feels like a nice afternoon song where you're like productive and just having a good day.
Yeah.
All right, the next one we're going to listen to is 6 a.m., and this one got a score of 7.42. All right, Sergio, you had some more stuff to say about this one, right?
Yes, number 4 on my rankings. Again, very nostalgic. I played a lot of this game at 6 a.m. And the difference between this and 5 a.m., you can definitely tell that the pace is picking up with 6 a.m. It's a fairly big change in pace and tempo from 5 a.m. But it's still, fairly early on in the day, and it's still a pretty nice piece. So, and again, very nostalgic for me, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually put a minus next to this one. It's almost too repetitive for me. I don't know.
So you would have ranked it a little lower
Yeah.
than great.
Yeah, then great. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's what I think for me, like, this is a song that makes me think trailer. And I think it was probably because it was in that second direct, and it was the 5.5 minute-ish segment at the end of like a September direct. So it got like, the game got revealed E3 2020, like we got the full trailer and got our first look and everything, and then the treehouse. And then there was a September direct later that year, 2020, and this song was specifically in that one. And I had to have watched that like 50 million times because there was so much like new and great footage in that little trailer.
Yes.
And it was just like the darkest timeline where we were waiting so anxiously for this game. So yeah, that one takes me back to the trailer. Not one of my favorites, but I still appreciate it. It feels like one of the slower New Leaf or Wild World songs, where it's like, it's nice, it does its job, and that's all you could ask for. All right, the next song we're going to talk about is 12 a.m., and this one got a score of 7.01. Here's a quick listen. All right, Nina, what do you think about this one?
I love this one. This one's like, it's like a synth kind of mimicking like a flute sound, sort of. I'm not a music person, so I don't know how accurate some of this is, but it's another one that's like so quiet and pretty, and it almost sounds like it's like behind a door or something. So again, this is one where I like that it kind of takes a back seat. And I play a lot late at night, so this one, I hear this one a lot. I love it. It's so calm.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, this one gave me more Wild World vibes as well.
I just like all the Wild World ones.
Yeah, and honestly, like as I've listened to a lot of these different tracks, I've definitely noticed like it really feels like there's some callbacks to the other games as well, with how some of the sounds come together and everything, which is a cool part of the soundtrack that I don't think I noticed as much earlier on in the game.
Yeah.
And now that I've listened to all of them a lot more, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of doing this type of thing from Wild World, where I guess what I feel when I feel it's Wild World vibes, it's like very on that subdued side, but also like
right.
The songs in Wild World and City Folk are very like melodic. They tend to have like a little jingle that goes with them.
Yes.
And I feel with some of these songs, when it's like taken down and subdued and meant to be kind of more on the quiet end, it feels like that Wild World vibe. And because so many of them implement that motif, that New Horizons, do 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 do,
yes.
right? It feels like that's their little jingle
Yeah.
that they have attributed to it. So
Right.
yeah, 12 a.m. It hits me with that, and I like that.
You know, for me, it's really, really down on my rankings. It's number 23. It's
Whoa.
almost
Oh, wow.
my least favorite. But, you know, music is very subjective. Everyone is different. But on my notes, I put notes in most of them. And for this one, I put good enough.
Good enough.
Good enough. Well, that's not bad. That's not a bad place to be for a 23 of 24
Yeah.
ranking, right?
I love that we always pick different ones too.
Yeah. All right, so that was the last song in the great range, or for some people, the good enough range. The next category was the good, and these are songs that scored an average of 6.01 to 7 in this survey. And the first one we're going to listen to is 7 p.m., which got a score of 6.88. All right, Sergio, you've got some things to say about this track, right?
Yes, and you know, it's interesting because this wasn't one of my favorites at first. I would say like during the first year of playing this game, you know, I played at all hours and I listened to it and it wasn't bad. But lately, I've been playing mostly on Saturdays, you know, at KK time, starting after 6 p.m. But I guess I stick around after seeing KK and, you know, 7 p.m. turns in and I don't know, I like it. It reminds me of playing New Horizons. It reminds me of going to see KK every Saturday, almost every Saturday. Oh my goodness. I remember that I have a confession to make. I didn't go last week because it was Sunday.
Oh, you missed it.
I missed it. I was reminding you guys and our listeners, and I'm the one that forgot.
I can't believe it. Is it? Oh no, I think Southern Hemisphere has a bug catching contest, so theirs is probably today or Sunday
Nice.
because we're recording.
I haven't played all week. I need to pick it up.
Gotta get back in it.
I
Yeah.
do.
Dang it! I just realized it was turnip day again.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I'm setting an alarm. I am setting
I
an
thought
alarm.
you set alarm this week.
No, I didn't. My phone's not next to me either right now, so
Better
that's
write it
fine.
down somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 7 p.m. gave me New Leaf vibes, honestly. Like this one feels like one of those like late evening songs
Yeah.
from New Leaf to me.
Yeah.
And those songs always felt like very dramatic
Yeah.
to me. There's a lot of emotion in those, I'd say. And this one just kind of like I felt that as I listened to it.
Yeah.
So
This one,
It
if
was
you
cool.
listen to it with headphones, has this really cool like echo that I never caught on to when I was just playing handheld. So I highly suggest listening to it in headphones if you haven't already.
Yeah, and honestly, there's a lot of tracks that are like kind of worth taking in with headphones too, especially like throughout the games. And I always
Oh
think
yeah.
of like the vibrations you feel from New Leaf's 5 p.m., right? That one
Yes.
that kind of just
Yes.
like goes back and forth in your ears and gives you the
Oh.
tingles.
Yes.
It's great. Yeah. So speaking about 5 p.m., the
Oh.
next track we're going to
Ah.
discuss and listen to is 5 p.m. from New Horizons, and this one got a score of 6.51. All right, my only note that I wrote here was I'm ready to see Nina and Sergio fight because I think you're going to fight.
Oh.
I'll
But I
let
don't know. I don't
Sergio
know.
go first.
Well, that score seems too low for me. This is my favorite track of the whole game. Again, nostalgia plays a big part. A lot of us played this game during the pandemic time, and for me, 5 p.m. was getting out of work time and start playing New Horizons time, and I remember it very fondly because of that. It was the same with 5 p.m. in New Leaf. So 5 p.m. it's a great time for me, I guess, in general, in life and in Animal Crossing. But this one, other than being nostalgic, I also would say it's like funky. I would even say like it has a little bit of romance to it, if if you kind of catch my drift. But yeah, 5 p.m. is very, very special and significant for me.
That's a good. I feel like the songs I always liked were the ones where it's like school is over. This is the first time I'm getting to turn on Animal Crossing, and that's the song that
Yeah.
greets me. So I get that. I get that appeal with it.
Yeah.
Nina, how do you feel about 5 p.m.?
Is this my least favorite song?
Oh.
It is the bottom of my list. I
Wow.
usually have to turn down the volume by 5
Oh,
p.m.
wow.
I'm so sorry. And I use the same word you did. I hate how funky it is. It's too much funk for me. It's too much. And like the synth sounds super whiny. Like I don't know if it's because I'm coming home and playing Animal Crossing and I've had children whining at me all day. I don't need anything else whining at me. I don't know. It just really grates my ears, I guess. So I'm sorry. Hard disagree here.
All right. So Sergio puts this one in perfection. Nina puts it in unlistenable.
Yeah, unlistenable. And that's how it got into the good category. Because we just balanced it out.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, just right in the middle. That's probably fair. Yeah. I personally don't mind this one. I think there's a worse atrocity with the synth than this one.
Oh.
Okay.
But I think I kind of like it. I like the very dramatic, kind of like slow staccato thing that it has going on, where it's like doom, doom, doom. But it's also like a specific mood too, so I can understand if you are not feeling that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so the next song we're going to listen to in this category is 8 a.m., and this got a score of 6.04. All right, Sergio, what do you think of this nice morning track here?
I like it a lot. It's my third favorite.
Ooh.
And again, it's very bouncy. I use that description in a lot of my favorites, and also again, nostalgia. And it's in a lot of the trailers also. So it clicks all the boxes for me. Yeah. 8 a.m. number three for me.
Yeah, this one, the note I wrote is it gets me pumped. It just
Wow.
feels like the guitar is just so It's just like, get going, do your stuff. You're ready to go. It's awesome, and it's fun to play on guitar. I think it's just a G and a C for anybody who wants to play it. And then the funkiness of the synth fits the most with this song, I think, of all of them, because I've always found that was like a weird addition to the instrument lineup with this soundtrack, but with this song in particular, I'm like, no, it just works. It's the right instrument to fit with the vibe that this one's giving. So I think it works for me. Yeah.
Man, this one's low on my list too. I don't know. I'm just not a funky person, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think I've listened to it quite a bit too, and it's very repetitive.
Yeah, that's what I have written down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it goes round and round. So like, I don't think it's one that I want to listen to for a long time, but just like a short little burst, like a minute of this song, I'm like, cool, this is good. I feel the energy.
Okay.
All right, the next song we're going to listen to is 3 p.m., and this one got a 6.01. I think this is my personal number one in the soundtrack. I think it's way too low. I don't know why. It's like very bottom of the good range, and I think it's one that's easy to overlook because there's so many songs like in its vicinity that feel similar, and the soundtrack starts to feel same-ish in this area.
Yes,
but I think, it saves us from the song that was just before, which is really great. But I think the instrumentation is what really feels like it stands out here for me, where it's got like a brass section or just like, some horn that's playing the little jingle instead of the other instruments, right? And I just feel like that brings a natural and islandish vibe to it that I think ties together really well with the rest of the game and what it's doing, Yeah,
I wrote down happy horn.
yeah, happy horn. It's nice. And this, I would have loved to hear more of that come out in the rest of the songs.
Me too.
And it doesn't, so it just feels like the one special song that does this and, speaks to the game in a different way than the other tracks. So for me, it's a standout for sure. I'm just like, I wish there was more of it, but it's also kind of nice that it's like the one that does this.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, for me, it's fairly low. It's 17, but it is better than 2 p.m. I'll give you that.
I'm excited to get to that one. All right, so that is the end of the good range. We are going into the a little bit above average range, which is a 5.01 to 6 score. We have a couple songs to listen to here. The first one is 3 a.m., which got a score of 5.84. All right, I know exactly why this one got a score of 5.84. It is not for everybody because it is very weird.
Yes.
It is that like weird, the game is telling you should be in bed song.
Yes.
A lot of the soundtracks have this type of song, this hour that's just like, you're up to no good and things are funky and weird. So this one's just bizarre, and I love that about it. It's like really stilted guitar playing with some weird notes getting hit here and there, but still that motif is ringing through the whole time, but it's just interpreted in a way that's just like, it's late.
Yes.
I should not be up right now.
Yeah, like I'm very tired, but I have to play this music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love this one too. And I would love more silly songs. Like,
yeah.
And they use real instruments. Like the horn has like a mute or something like that it's using. It's good.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is just that like natural instrument sound that really works with it too. And I agree with you. Like more silly songs. Like I feel like they've gone away from that since the first game. Like the first game has a lot of like little silly songs that are silly for like a lot of reasons, but they're so good and cohesive in a way. And this one, it's nice. It's nice to have another one that just like sticks out and does something so strange that the rest of the soundtrack doesn't touch upon.
Yeah, right. But you know, this is my least favorite. This is at the bottom of my list.
Wow.
I do like the weird ones. I think the weird one in New Leaf was 2 a.m., if I remember correctly, and I love that one. But this one is just too slow. I like the weird instruments about it, but I think it's just too slow for me.
Yeah, I could see that. Like it's very like stumble along.
Yeah,
that's
kind
so
of
interesting.
vibe. Yeah, man, at the bottom. Well, I like it. All right, the next one we're going to listen to in this section is the 9 p.m. track. It got a score of 5.45. Nina, what do you think of this one?
I think this is ranked way too low. I love this song. It's another one that leaves a lot of open space so that you can hear what you're playing, which I think that's where me and Sergio kind of differ. It sounds like Sergio, you like the ones that are like more upbeat and uplifting and bouncy.
Yes.
And I'm really liking the ones that kind of take their time. But this one, if you listen to the rain or especially the snow version, it's perfection. It's the best one. And it's perfect for 9 p.m. too. This one's really nice.
That's nice. Yeah, and another similarity with what you like about this one, my note here was New Leaf vibes. And to me, New Leaf was just like those really slow, like dramatic songs for the like early evening hours. And so this is like nighttime basically now, 9 p.m. But
it's not even evening anymore. It's nighttime.
But yeah, that's the vibe that this one gave me again. All right, we are going into the last category here. This is the average song. Got a score between 4.01 and 5. Not going to make you listen to this one too long. 2 p.m. It got a score of 4.51. Here it is. All right, that's enough. This song is terrible. I can't with this one. I mean, some people must have liked it more than to me, this is like bottom of the barrel. This is the worst one. Wow. Unlistenable. I can't do it. It's just so squealy and annoying.
Yeah. That's so high pitched. All I have written down is wee woo new hate it.
Yeah, Sergio, where did this one fall on your ranking? Because I was interested.
It's number 18, but it's definitely the lowest of like the early day, like early afternoon, basically. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I get that. It's just like I don't know. This song is always when I play during streams. So I go and find other things to do that aren't outside on my island because I can't listen to that song for an hour. It's bad. I think it should be lower, but I don't know who voted it to be at least average.
That's just what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People are too nice.
Yeah, maybe they are. Maybe they are with some of these tracks, and maybe no, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, maybe it's a mix of people being too nice and just like all of these being averaged out.
Yeah.
But it is the worst ranked song, right, out of the poll?
It is.
That is, yeah. So overall, this one is not going places.
Yes.
This is the song you write, and people are like, yeah, keep your day job.
Keep
And I've written plenty of those songs, so I know what that sounds like. All right, well, that is where the songs fell in the ranking, at least the ones we talked about. Once again, nothing got lower than the 4.51, so nothing fell in the a little below average range, the bad, the awful, the unlistenable. So overall, I'd say either people are nice or the soundtrack does a good job in the game, a decent enough job to keep people like, oh yeah, there's some redeeming qualities here with the music, which I also think it's a decent soundtrack. I think it does a good job overall. I guess, how do you both feel about it?
Yeah, I agree. It's good enough.
Good enough.
Maybe a little better than that. It's good. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's good. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got too much like jazzy funk for me. I know that ruins my street cred, but I don't have any to begin with, so it's okay with
me. Yeah, that's all right. All right. And I think there are definitely songs that like stand out to everybody,
right?
At least, which is good. Like
that is good.
It's going to be difficult to beat your like first Animal Crossing soundtrack because that one's just got like
yes, that's true.
So many memories ingrained sonically into your head with those experiences. So it's nice to see that like we're still capturing some of those things from previous Animal Crossing games, but also doing it in a new way that's like fresh and exciting. So
yeah,
it makes me excited to hear whatever they do with the next one for sure.
I think a lot of standout songs too for New Horizons are not the hourly songs.
Yeah, true.
They do really great jobs with like the events or the I don't know, like when you're in the museum, all the different exhibits are super great. Like, it just depends on where you are.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like a lot of the event music is nice. A lot of the new stuff from the Happy Home Paradise and like the real island sounding songs. Dodo Airlines is just like
it's good.
Yeah, and it's got such a cool little like radio effect with it too.
Yep.
Yeah, so many good ones. So there were some questions at the end of the survey as well. I figured we'll go through them pretty quickly and we can give our thoughts as well. The first one was, overall, how do you feel about the New Horizons hourly music tracks? There were 5 answers that people could pick from, and 3.4% of people said, I will forever play with the music off. 16.9% of people said, it's not good, but there are a few good tracks. 33.7%, it's okay and has some good tracks. 30.3% said, it's good, most of the tracks are great. 10.1% said, it's very good and almost every track is a hit. And then 5.6% said, it's fantastic, and I will probably listen to it even when I'm not playing. Nina, what would your answer be here?
Well, I kind of like go between two because I do agree with that 33.7%. It's okay and it has some good tracks, but I do find myself listening to it even when I'm not playing. Like I'll throw on on my board when I'm teaching, like just some background music of Animal Crossing hourly. So even though it's not my favorite, I still love it. It's Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that's like, I feel like when you're going to run into that answer where you do have some good tracks that you like those are going to probably work their way into your rotation of like little background music to work to,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah. Sergio, what would you answer here?
I'm with the majority. It's okay, but has some good tracks. And those good tracks are very memorable to us, the ones we like. But like you said, the other ones are not bad. They're just not for us, or we're not in the mood at the moment. But they're good enough. Yeah, I would say it's okay.
They're good enough. Yeah, I think I'll actually go one step higher with it. I think there's very few songs like 2 p.m. in this for me. So I'd say it's good. Most of the tracks are great.
Yeah.
But some of the ones that aren't are like, you can tell.
Yeah.
You really know when you don't connect to some of them.
It's pretty polarizing.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
The next question on this was, in general, do you like the rainy versions of the hourly tracks? And 50.6% said yes, 4.5% said no, 22.5% said mixed feelings, and then another 22.5% said haven't heard them enough to have an opinion. Where do you fall here, Sergio?
I think I would go with mixed feelings. Here's what I'm thinking. I like what the songs do and how different they are, but I don't think they're different enough. I wish they did just a little bit more than what they do. It would make them just a little more different, and it would be perfect for me. So yeah, mixed feelings.
Yeah, I can see that. Nina, where do you fall here?
I think I fall in yes. I mean, I do agree with Sergio. I think other games did the rain versions better, but whatever that little I don't know what instrument it is. It almost sounds like someone playing bones to me. So maybe it's like I don't, not a xylophone. What's the wooden version of a xylophone? Glockenspiel. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Kinda
I
like
love
that.
it. I love whatever that adds to the rainy day. It's cute. So I would say yes.
Yeah. I'd say I fall more along the lines of mixed feelings as well. I just think the sounds don't stand out enough for me, and and I'm mostly just sad that it doesn't rain enough on my island because I love when it rains. But
Yes.
yeah, I just think it's just like, it's still, like you said, Sergio, it doesn't feel like it changes things quite enough.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's kind of where I fall. Uh, in general, do you like the snowy versions of the hourly tracks? This was the next question, and 36% said yes, 3.4% said no, 5.6% said mixed feelings, and 55.1% said haven't heard them enough to have an opinion. And so it seems like people are avoiding playing this game in the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not too many opinions made here. Nina, how do you feel here?
I love it. It is perfect for me. I love the little, like, every once in a while you hear like the sleigh bells, or whatever those are.
Yes.
And then there's also like kind of like a tinkling. Again, I'm not an instrument person, so I'm so sorry if this isn't making sense, but it's perfection.
Awesome. Sergio, where do you feel here?
I agree with Nina. I think these ones do good enough between the difference between regular and snowy. They got it spot on. The rainy ones are the ones I have an issue with, but yeah, the snowy ones, yes, I'm with yes.
Yeah, well, make that 3 yeses, because I fall in that same spot where I'm just like, I do feel like these do enough. Like, you do hear enough, like, different instruments and changes to them that it's like, oh, I can tell it's snowing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think going back to, like, the rainy ones, it's just hard when you have such a great rainy little jingle that plays in the original Animal Crossing, where it's just like a completely new song dedicated to raining. And now I'm just like, if I were to take that idea and take it to the next level, it would be like, I would want a brand new song for every single hour if it's raining or snowing. Like that's the level of depth I would want to go into with the tracks. But at the same time, I don't know how well that would work in the grand scheme too, because what kind of works with like the changes to the rainy and the snowy tracks is that it's like the same song, just like reinterpreted.
Yeah.
With some new instruments and things. So yeah, it's hard to get that new mix, but I would at least want like one game to try it out. Okay. A couple last questions here. The next one is, if you had the option to play with the music off and only have ambient noises, would you? And the first answer was all the time with 0%. 22.7% of people said most of the time. 13.6% said half of the time. 40.6% said sometimes. 13.6% said not very often, and 9.1% said never. So, yeah, music off or on. Sergio, where do you fall here?
I would say never. The soundtrack is good, not great, not awesome, but I want to hear it. Actually, to the point that I would say it bothers me that when you're on the beach, the music, the volume goes down.
Really fades, yeah.
Oh.
And the third tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
When you're
true.
on the third tier, it really fades as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get it that there's more ambient noise in those areas, and I think it makes sense. I think those ambient noises should get louder, but not the music should go lower. Yeah, I want to hear that music everywhere at the same volume. So yeah, I would say definitely never. I would not want to play without the music.
Yeah, I feel like it almost in that scenario would make more sense to have more of like control over the sounds, right?
Yes.
We've never had, and this is something I feel they could have like snuck in there if they just gave us like a little
Yes.
music app where you
Yeah.
could go to your phone and be like, oh, I want the music to be louder, or I want these sounds to be louder. Or for some people, I want the waterfalls to not sound like they're crashing
Yes.
forever. Like it's so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nina, where do you fall here?
I would say sometimes I'd love there to be like a slide that you could move up and down. But again, I like those songs that kind of give you the chance to hear the ambient noises, and this game has a lot of those, so I'm usually very happy with it.
Yeah. I fall in the sometimes range just because I know it would be very nifty to just not have the music during 2 p.m. I would just turn it off for that, and
Yeah.
I'd be good to go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
You just sing your own 2 p.m. song.
Yeah, or play. I mean, the other popular ask with this game is like, we have the Nook phone. Why not give us a little app where we can change through the different soundtracks from the other games as well?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Or just
It
play
would
KK
be-
songs.
Yes.
Because-
Yes.
That's true. Yeah, or just play KK songs. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I get too big with all of these ideas where I'm just like, oh yeah, but imagine they kind of give it like, and some games do this. I think they did this with Mario Party Superstars recently, where they make an updated version, like an updated recording of the song, but also keep in the classic version. So it's like, here's classic New Leaf 5 p.m. or here's the updated New Leaf 5 p.m. And then I'm just like, yeah, I get too big with that because I know that would take. Yeah. And then KK songs, they could do all that as well, too, where it's like, here's the different, here's techno pop from GameCube, here's techno pop from Wild World, City Folk. And yeah, it'd be too much, but I would love it.
Or live KK.
Yeah, live KK. Oh, game changer.
Yeah.
All right, the last answer or question here was, which Animal Crossing game was your favorite hourly music? So 22.1% said Animal Crossing on the GameCube, 23.3% said Animal Crossing Wild World / City Folk / Let's Go to the City, and then 46.5% said Animal Crossing New Leaf, and then 8.1% said Animal Crossing
Wow.
New Horizons. So a lot lower on the list there. This one I want to approach a little bit differently. Sergio, what order would you rank these?
Oh.
All right. I would
From
go
least favorite to favorite.
Okay. So least favorite. Oh man. Yeah, I'm sorry. New Horizons is gonna be worse. At least I had to think about it. You heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So,
I get it.
New Horizons least, then Wild World or City Folk would be second to least. Then Population Growing on the GameCube, and my favorite is New Leaf.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay. So pretty close to how the stats work out here.
Yes. Hmm.
Nina, how would you rank them?
Um, well, I'd have to take out population growing on the GameCube just because I haven't played it very much enough to know it.
Hmm.
So put it at the bottom.
Yeah,
Least favorite.
least favorite. um, I'm having trouble choosing between Wild World and New. I think Wild World for me is still my favorite, and then New Leaf, and then New Horizons.
Mm.
But again,
Neat,
it's not
neat.
because I hate any of them. I mean, except for 5 p.m. Um, yeah, it just happens to be in that order.
I getcha. I getcha. Okay. Now for mine. My least favorite out of all of these is New Leaf.
Wow.
I'm not in
No.
that 46.5%. I think
What?
yeah, I don't know what it is with New Leaf, but for some reason it just like has dropped steadily. And I don't know, I think it's just the other ones have stood out for me. That said, New Horizons still isn't very high. I still think I put that just above New Leaf. And then Wild World and City Folk would be next,
Mm.
and then the GameCube one for me. Kind of almost backwards in time. The older it gets, the more I like it.
Do
Yeah.
either of you have the Chrome extension that
Yes.
plays hourly songs?
Yes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's
Of course.
great. And you can change whatever game you want. You can change if it's raining, if it's snowing.
You
It's
set it up
so
for
good.
KK to play on Saturday nights.
Yes.
Yeah, it's perf. All right, well, everybody, let's go ahead and get to our Haken's Islander Corner. For those of you who don't know, every single week we ask our patrons on Patreon a question and read their answers out loud here on the show. This week's question was, how would you rank every Animal Crossing game? So we did that last week, and we decided to ask our patrons what their thoughts were. And we're going to get a mix. You know, some people have played them all, some people have not. So they'll have different amounts of games in their rankings based on that. But I guess I can start, then we'll go Nina, then Sergio.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so the first answer is from our good friend Quantrell. And Quantrell said, and I'm pretty sure most people did the rankings from worst to best in their scale. So Quantrell, number 9, City Folk, number 8, Wild World, number 7, Amiibo Festival, number 6, Happy Home Paradise, number 5, Happy Home Designer, number 4, Pocket Camp, number 3, Population Growing, number 2, New Horizons, and number 1, New Leaf.
Nice.
And then his comment to kind of accompany that was, City Folk was easily the most disappointing game I've ever played.
Wow.
I was already meh about Wild World on the heels of the greatness of Population Growing, but City Folk being Wild World 1.5 was with terrible grass mechanics was a heartbreaker. Amiibo Festival isn't great, but I've had more fun playing it with my wife than I have playing Mario Party / Wii Party because minigames are out, making it more fair for non-gamers. Okay. And then Designer is better than Paradise because Designer has more interior and exterior decorating options. And I feel New Leaf is better than New Horizons because it just feels like a more complete game.
Yes.
Even after New Horizons 2.0, the Welcome Amiibo update just made a great game even better.
Yes.
Wow.
That makes sense. I'd say that's a fair argument where people were already satisfied with their experience with New Leaf, and then the DLC that came out, the Welcome Amiibo update, just like
Yes.
added to that. So that's fair.
Interesting. Well, Sasha505 says number 9 is Population Growing, number 8 is City Folk, number 7 is Amiibo Festival, 6 Pocket Camp, 5 Happy Home Designer, 4 Happy Home Paradise, 3 Wild World, 2 New Leaf, and 1 New Horizons. They say Wild World was the first Animal Crossing game that I played. I loved the daily routine in that game, walking along the beach, selling fruit, buying furniture, and talking to my villagers. I didn't know that the game was lacking things like holidays, so it didn't bother me. New Leaf and New Horizons were games that really got me into Animal Crossing. The only difference is that I stopped playing New Leaf at some point, but I always end up coming back to New Horizons. Still, New Leaf did have that special spark that New Horizons doesn't have. Interesting. I'm kind of feeling the same way with New Leaf and New Horizons. I have not revisited New Leaf, but I've got so many hours on New Horizons and I will always go back to it. So, yeah, I think that pushes it up a little for me too.
Yeah.
Nice. The next answer is by Islander Phoebe, and they said, I didn't play City Folk or Amiibo Festival, but I'm just going to assume that Amiibo Festival was worse. So here's my list. Number 9, Amiibo Festival. Number 8, City Folk. Number 7, Happy Home Designer. Number 6, Pocket Camp. Number 5, Happy Home Paradise. Number 4, Population Growing. Number 3 is Wild World. Number 2, New Leaf. And number 1, New Horizons. And Islander Phoebe said, for 2 to 4, it was a struggle to choose the order because I love them all so much. New Horizons was an easy pick for number 1, though. I have put in an absurd amount of hours, and it's the game that brought me to the wonderful Haken community. Thank you.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's good. It's good that you struggle with your rankings on these because it's like, we love Animal Crossing and it's hard to pick on any of them because they're all precious, right?
Yeah.
So Logan said, speaking of which, time for the mental turmoil ranking my children creates. So Logan put Amiibo Festival at number 9, Happy Home Designer at number 8. The comment says, this is so low simply because Happy Home Paradise is better. Number 7 was Pocket Camp, so low because it has child-friendly slot machines in the form of cookies. Number 6, Wild World. Number 5, Happy Home Paradise. Number 4, City Folk. Number 3, Population Growing. Number 2, New Horizons. Number 1, New Leaf. And then 0, Animal Crossing Calculator, baby. This ranking will probably change about 5 times in the next 3 hours, so just gonna send it as is. Logan, as always, a pleasure to hear your thoughts. I love it.
Let's see. Naomi says, okay. It's looking like it's going best to worst here. So number 1, New Horizons. Number 2, New Leaf. Number 3, Wild World. Number 4, Let's Go to the City Folk. She says she combined both games in one. Nice. Number 5 says Happy Home Designer and can't rank any others because I didn't play them. That is totally okay, Naomi. This looks like a good ranking to me.
I'm gonna use that though. Let's go to the City Folk.
Yes,
it's perfect.
That's so nice. Nice. The next rankings are by Waffles, and they said, oof, this is hard because I feel like each game is an improvement on the last in many ways. But based on playtime, I would estimate as follows, and they also had them from best to worst. So number 1, New Horizons and Happy Home Paradise. Number 2, Wild World. Number 3, Population Growing. Number 4, New Leaf. Oof. Number 5, City Folk. And number 6, Happy Home Designer. And Waffle said, I have so many good memories playing Population Growing in Wild World. I either wasn't good at looking stuff up in the internet or there wasn't much info out there because it always felt like there was something new to discover and the games held so many mysteries. Also, nothing can beat the Population Growing soundtrack. All the hourly variations on forest life and the super weird ones like 1 p.m. and 2 a.m. Yes, very good points.
I think 1 p.m. has the cat meows.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty classic. All right, Shy Lesbian Eel said, number 9, Amiibo Festival. Number 8, Pocket Camp. Number 7, Happy Home Designer. Number 6, Happy Home Paradise. 5, Wild World. Many, many fond memories playing online, but City Folk was objectively better. Number 4, City Folk. Played this less than Wild World and was initially disappointed by how similar it was to Wild World, but learned to love it in the year before New Leaf came out. Number 3, New Leaf. I first didn't quite bond with this one as much as I thought based on how hyped I was, but once I discovered the save file editor, I really went wild designing my town by changing the rivers and placement of buildings, which is why New Horizons was perfect for me and took the top spot. Number 2, population growing. My first, pure nostalgia, and then number 1, like we heard, was New Horizons. And I guess it's a good reason to really like New Horizons. Like, if it really, if your playtime with New Leaf was improved because you were able to, like, edit your town and build it up in ways that you couldn't, and New Horizons just lets you do that, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Like, you like that town building aspect. And honestly, I fall along the lines where I'd like to see more of that town building, like, come into play.
Yes, exactly.
In the future.
Yeah. Carzy says, I haven't played all the games, more like just the bookends, but here is my list. Number 1, New Horizons. I'm so embarrassed by my playtime, but it's a testament to my love of this game. I feel the same way. Number 2, population growing, the one that started it all. I have never seen anything like it, and I fell in love instantly. Number 3, Happy Home Paradise. I love the story, the new characters, and how we help the island develop over time. Such a great addition to New Horizons. Number 4, Pocket Camp. I like being able to carry Animal Crossing with me everywhere. Some of the furniture is darling, and I like the social aspect of it. The LT gouging, the leaf ticket gouging is shameful, though. That's true. Oh my gosh. And then number 5 is Wild World. I played this on my Wii U for a bit, and I love the music. It was neat meeting some of the characters that just didn't make it to New Horizons. But New Horizons 2.0 and Happy Home Paradise came out shortly after I started playing this, so bye. Oh, that's a good list. I like those. I like your explanations a lot.
That is really good.
Nice. And the last answer is by Honeycomb, and they said, out of the games I've played, number 4 is Pocket Camp, number 3 is Wild World, number 2 is New Leaf, and number 1 is New Horizons. And then they said, I mostly base this on playtime, but all of these games have something I love more than others. The Wild World is number 1 for soundtrack, Pocket Camp has some of my favorite items, and New Leaf is the series that started my Animal Crossing journey and will always have a very special place in my heart. New Horizons is by far my favorite though, and my excessive playtime speaks to that. I feel like a lot of the answers we got are from people that played them the most. Like, the one they play the most is their favorite, and I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, for me it applies. I play more New Leaf than New Horizons, at least so far.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know what? To some extent, like, it makes sense that you would play the one that's your favorite most, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel like that falls in line.
Yeah.
With how it would go. Anyways, for anybody who is a patron, next week's question is going to be, what is your favorite hourly song from any Animal Crossing game? So be sure to pick one. It can be from any game whatsoever that has, I guess, hourly music. So yeah, we're excited to see what you all like. And thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. If you're sad to see us go, join us over on Discord. You can talk with other people who love Animal Crossing as much as you do, including Sergio, Nina, and me. Want to support Haken in a bigger way and tell us your answers in the Haken Islander Corner? Head over to patreon.com/chewyplays. $1 goes a long way to making this show even better and includes tons of goodies for you to enjoy. Get a special role on Discord, read a monthly newsletter, and get many other great rewards. We really appreciate the support and put your money towards some great things on the show. If you're listening on YouTube, what is your favorite hourly song from any Animal Crossing game? Reviews really help the show get discovered by more people. Please leave a review on your platform of choice and let us know how we're doing. Haken is a wild production brought to you by Chewy, Sergio, Nina, and all of our patrons. We thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you all next time.